I was intrigued by what you were eating.
Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's live vlog from the Blue Room, where we have 25 different artists vlogging for us at the Blue Room. And tonight we have the wonderful Joe Louis. Joe.
Hello, my name is Joe Louis. I'm going to go right into it. I'm from Renegade Theatre Company, an independent theatre company with a ridiculous work ethic and a really punishing schedule. Most of us work, study and do theatre all full time. It's ridiculous. If anyone wants more money, it's me. We have a show in Frankenstein in March over here. Please come and give us your money. One of the things that affected me the most about this live blog that was said was a comment by Mel, who founded Sugar Blue Burlesque. And she said that she makes it a point that everyone in their shows gets paid. That is amazing. And it blew my mind because I never even thought of it. Nobody in my shows gets paid. Nothing. All right? Like, really. It struck me as amazing. It really did. I am a design-based director, which in independent theatre in Perth seems to put me in a gigantic minority. We put a lot of money and a lot of effort into our sets, our lighting and our composition. My crew, the Renegades, have stuck by me and us by each other to do this because we love it. But running a nothing is hard, so once again, if anyone wants money, it's me. But yesterday I came along, and before Brian said anything about anything, he said that it feels strange talking about this stuff while Victoria goes up in flames. I paraphrase, of course, but he then gave the number for the Victoria Aid thing. Go look it up, it's a noble cause. But that does bring me to the first point of my talk, which is about the worth of art. The worth of performance art. What is art worth? You know, millions if we're talking about Hollywood. If you're talking about TV, if you're talking about Cirque and Phantom, millions if you're talking about entertainment. But I'm not. It's not the kind of art I'm talking about. TV and spectacle theatre has basically cornered the entertainment market, and we can't be bothered with that. We can't compete with TV because it's cheap and convenient, and we can't compete with Hollywood because we don't have $120 million per show. We've got to do our own shit. We have to find our own way and define our own theatre practice as something completely different that's completely unique. So that it's not a question of whether I should go see Pirates of the Caribbean or Reflections of a Nude Male at Pica and the inevitable choice that follows. But it should be the choice between entertainment and being moved. And that is the power of our art form. It's the power of live theatre, of dance, of performance, of installation. The immediacy, a live audience right next to you, and if you're lucky, they're not expecting you. And that's why taking a spray can to the Parliament wall will forever be more potent than anything else you can possibly do in your artistic life. Because of that immediacy. Because people are there smelling the paint, watching the sweat drip off your limbs. And so what is the worth of our sweaty limbs? Of paint, or even Phantom and Michael Bay, compared to the fires in Victoria? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Art does not deserve anything. Not when compared to cancer. I would love to get paid for what I do. But if I were any government in the world, I would divert every last cent of arts to poverty, AIDS and cancer. Because art just isn't worth that. Because even if no one got paid for theatre, even if movies got made from nothing, movies and theatre would still be made, and that is the best part about art. Because art lives on nonetheless. And that's what makes it worthless. And that's what makes it worth more than any money in the world. We don't deserve the Blue Room. We don't deserve the DCA. We don't deserve the privilege of being allowed to write grants so that we can get paid for stuff that we would all be doing anyway. You might as well pay me for playing video games. I'd love it, and it's great, but we don't deserve it. I want in. I'm dying to get me and my people paid. I'm dying for some paid design work. But once again, we don't deserve it. Understand that we are a capitalist society. You can't talk about wanting to take work to Singapore and Indonesia, countries that are rife with government-controlled media and more censorship than you can shake a stick at, with governments with so much more sin on their hands than the politicians you're so bloodthirsty for here. To open up these markets is to support censorship and tyranny masquerading as being interested in art. Trust me, I'm from there. It sucks. But you should do it. We all should do it because we can and because we're entitled to make money however we can, because we live in a beautiful capitalist society in which I can't stop you from making money even if I think it's immoral. You can't talk about the untapped Asian market and simultaneously blame the government bureaucracy for wanting and being about money. Everyone and everything here is about money, and that's why it's so great. It is the best thing about being able to do art in Perth and Australia and the Western world in general. You want government money, you play by their rules, and that's that because you're asking for a handout. They're granting us a favour. Our industry can't support itself, so the government is signing our checks. Recognise. And as long as the government signs most of our checks, we're the government's bitch. But, so, what can we do? Like, are we as independent theatre artists stuck between poverty and being a pet dog? No, because we have one very important thing that we can do, which is to use these little bones that we've been thrown to take back theatre. We've got to make theatre theatrical again for us. We've got to make it uniquely theatrical. Grotowski said it best. And we need to carve out the niche in theatre that is separate to everything else. There are a million sitcoms out there just waiting to be downloaded. I'm not going to see a piece of theatre where light comedy is made of a situation. It's too expensive and I've got a TV. So let us search for theatre that is uniquely theatrical. Let's not create Phantom with 6 people in a dingy space. Let's do something. Let's move people. Make theatre a place for people who want to think, who want to talk afterwards about things affecting lives and societies over wine and pineapple juice. Build an edifice where they can get the intellectual fulfillment they never knew they needed, and the people will come. Those people who can't bear to see male nudes as art, screw them. Let's corner the market that wants to be moved and made to think, that can be made to yell and throw things, that will baffle themselves and their own ideals and their own beliefs, as well as the governments and society, because doing that shit is important to them. They will come because they're out there. They're out here. We need to find a theatre, once again, that is uniquely theatrical, and part of that is in content, as I've said. But you will never see a movement piece set in the middle of a stream of conscious narrative using justice within a Brechtian epic theatre set in Hollywood. You will never see a lighting or set design or sound design that is so intricately woven into a performance that it itself becomes a performer in a television series. Let's start caring about being something more than entertainment. We can't forget that we're entertainment, but being more than that is not only important, it is imperative if we want to be relevant. And relevance brings its related audiences. Take Penn and Teller, for instance. Street magicians who now have their own show every night on the Las Vegas Strip. They wouldn't be anywhere if they didn't put their passions for science and reason into their magic tricks. They fought for something they believed, and now they've got a cult following. As independent artists, we have to stop hiding behind safe statements like, I see this as being really simple and pulled back design-wise. Do you want to know how many people have said this to me in my time as a designer and technician? 90% of people tell me this stuff like it's some revelation to be simple with just a blank stage. Clearly, it's the norm. Let's let ourselves just consider the possibility that something might be bigger and better. Let's stop hiding behind performing heads that talk back and forth to each other. Let's put it into our bodies and our voices in ways that television and movies couldn't even dream of doing, because we're doing something that cannot be captured in a frame. Let's build something unique that the public will respond to, and they will come to our shows. We live in a time of unprecedented social consciousness. People want to be moved to think, contrary to more pessimistic worldviews. Give them a reason to be at the theatre that is completely different to anything else, and I believe they will be there. And maybe, just maybe, we can finally move towards being truly independent, self-sufficient, not depending on the government for handouts, and thus being truly free to create art. And to all the naysayers who say that this is a pipe dream, that audiences will never be big enough or willing to pay enough money for that dream to happen, screw you, because Oscar Wilde will still be writing, poverty-stricken and yet to be discovered. Caspar Neher will still be designing after the horrors of the Second World War. Dead Prez will still be rapping after growing up in poverty-stricken slums. Tori Amos will continue to sing after multiple rapes. And in our own hometown, Sugar Blue Burlesque will continue dancing. And Paul Grabovac, my friend and compatriot, will still be form working 12 hours a day and rehearsing afterwards. And I will still be working, because art lives on. Thank you very much.